Hey YouTubers, Christopher Wanamaker here doing an updated Pacific Northwest tour guide advice video. This is like the 3.0 version. So what I'm going to do is a quick basic overview of a little bit of background about me, and then I'm going to get into being a bit of a tour guide for the Pacific Northwest. I'm a big thrill-seeking adventurer person. I love doing road trip traveling and going through all different countries and states and counties and all that. I'm a Google reviewer under my full name, which you can see right there is Christopher Wanamaker. And so pretty much as of last night, I have 50 followers on my Google reviews and about 9.25 million views for a little over 3,700 different pictures I posted, and maybe about 100 or more reviews that I've done of the local in the like Vancouver, Washington, Portland, Oregon, and surrounding areas of restaurants and like Amzi Museum, Japanese gardens, state parks, national parks here in the Pacific Northwest. Hiking trails, waterfall places, places like recreational, like Amzi Museum, Tracker's Earth, which is like, you can do indoor archery, axe throwing, survival foraging classes, blacksmithing classes, and a variety of other things. Indoor gun ranges, I've done reviews on that. The different malls like Washington Square Mall in Tigard or Clackamas Town Center Mall in Clackamas, Oregon, the Vancouver Mall in Vancouver, Washington, all that kind of stuff. So some basic overview, background information about me. I'm a 13-year Army war veteran. I did a year in Baghdad, Iraq, a year in Afghanistan, and a 3-month humanitarian mission to Liberia, Africa. Through all my military travels, I've traveled to 45 of the 50 United States currently, 3 of the 4 Hawaiian Islands, Alberta and BC, Canada, almost all of that, except for the actual Hawaiian Islands. All the other places I've been to is all road trip traveling here in North America. I was stationed in Hanau, Germany for 2 years and been all over different parts of Germany. I went to Kuwait for several weeks altogether while those like stopping gaps before getting to Iraq and Afghanistan. I was in Baghdad, Iraq area for a year, eastern Afghanistan, and sometimes Kandahar as well, which is more central Afghanistan, eastern Afghanistan near the Pakistan border for the most of the time for that year that I was deployed. I've been to Kuwait, for several weeks. I've been to Kazakhstan for 3 weeks. I've been to Liberia, Africa for 3 months. I've been on the Virgin Islands for like a week. Amsterdam for it was like 7-10 days. So I've definitely been around the block. I was also, once I got out of the military in September 2016, I had to kill 51 days to move into my upcoming apartment in Colorado Springs. So I went on a 51-day, 10,300-mile, 34-state cross-country road trip, hitting 34 states, all 4 corners of the United States. In 51 days, spent 12 grand on the whole trip, and then moved into my apartment that was on the 51st day, it was ready to move into. And then 2 months later started my first semester out of 5 semesters of community college in Colorado Springs. I got my associate's degree. During the time that I was in community college, after the first year of being there, other than doing college, plasma donation, after the first year, I began Lyft driving, became a rideshare driver for the next 2.5 years, did 5,710 fares with Lyft until I moved the end of 2019 to the beginning of 2020, and I got canned from a female customer filing a false report against me, and I didn't have a dash cam to protect myself. So I got canned, and then a month later became an Uber driver for the Pacific Northwest. Did that for, even though I was on the platform for 3 years, it was actually 2.5 because COVID-19 had hit, and no one could really drive or anything for a long while if any of your paperwork was out of date or driver's license and DMVs were closed. So I drove for about 2.5 years, not until really after the first month, then skipped multiple months until August of 2020 when I updated my vehicle driver's license and vehicle registration when the DMVs reopened, and then I started driving again. And I did about, I think it was 1,300 fares total with Uber, so like 7,100 in 5 years, five-star, solid 5-star rated driver. And so, love, road trip traveling, driving around. I love long road trips and, going to places. I love taking pictures. Took a little bit of photography in middle school and everything. I love hiking trails. I love waterfalls. A lot of people don't know this, but just between Oregon and Washington combined together alone, there are 637 waterfalls. Not all of them are solid year-round waterfalls. So I've been to like probably about 40 of them. So it's a little bit of, a basic overview about me, a little bit, why I'm so passionate about this kind of stuff. Definitely a traveler. I've only got 5 more states and 1 more Hawaiian island to hit in the United States, and then I'll have seen all 50 United States. I think the states I have left are North Dakota, Michigan, Iowa, Delaware, Alaska, and the island of Maui. Once I hit those 6 different places, I'll have seen all 50 United States. So pretty much what we're going to do now is I'm going to do a detailed overview of everything I could think of places to see, activities to go do, recreational places. First, all of Washington, and then all of Oregon, and then a little bit of what I know about Idaho is also, covering the entire Pacific Northwest of both places to go, things to see, things to do, activities, and also good food recommendation places as well. So let's get into it. And so the first, we're going to start with Washington, which is the state I live in. So there is, of course, Seattle, a lot of stuff, very populated area, a lot of things to see and do. I just recently found out about something that you can sign up for online called Lawless Forge, and it's like pretty much you can sign up through that website for blacksmithing classes. And then, I've been up in the Seattle area a couple of times. I stood at the base of the Space Needle, never been inside of it, though. When I was stationed at Fort Lewis and became a supply sergeant, what I did not know that if I, for re-enlisting, was that if I wanted to re-enlist, the government, we could do it at, inside the Space Needle, and it would be a full paid-for meal and all that kind of stuff by the United States government. I did not know that. If I would have known that, I would have done it. But, this last Mother's Day of last year, I took my mom to Leavenworth, and we stayed overnight in Wenatchee, just a little, I believe, east of Leavenworth. And she had never been there before and all that. And after that, when we were living, pretty much Leavenworth is like a Bulgarian German-style town. It used to be a mining town, but dried up, and, everybody was leaving, and it was falling apart. So they, all the businesses and locals invested in turning it into, from the mining town into a German Bulgarian style town from these like brothers who went to Germany and loved the environment, had a business there, and they revamped it, and like now it's the closest thing you'll get to experiencing a real German Bulgarian styled culture. Without actually going to Germany. So they have, the bratwurst and the, authentic pretzels, and they have, like German-made beers, and then unique wines, and some even specialty wines, German, like a hat shop, nutcracker shop, cuckoo clock shop. They have like 24/7, 364-day out of the year Christmas shop. I think it's called like Kris Kringle or something like that. It's 2-story Christmas shop. They have little sections of whatever the more current holidays, like a Halloween section and a Thanksgiving section. They'll switch that out, but on the majority of it, 95% of it's all Christmas 2 stories. Even have an elevator, so it is handicap accessible, so it's stairs and an elevator. They have cuckoo clocks in there, and then there's breweries and wineries. I think there's nearby golf courses. They also have a new recreational place. I believe it's like right across from the 76 gas station. on the far side, the western side of Leavenworth. It's a recreational thing, and it started this last summer of 2023, and it was an alpine coaster. And so I believe it has the double handles off to the sides, like two-seater coaster. Buckle in, and then you got both handles push forward for to go, and then pull back for brakes and everything. So I don't think it's running during the winter time, but don't quote me on that. But when it's colder, though, I'm betting they shut that down. It has like a fake rock wall for kids to climb, little mining thing. It has a variety of little outdoor recreational stuff. It's so alpine coaster. I have not done it myself yet, but I have done those alpine coasters. I did them in the Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, Smoky Mountains, Eastern Tennessee. But the first one I ever did was in where was that? Vilseck, Germany, when I was heading towards Vilseck, a military base, to do my very first small arms maintenance course, arms room kind of stuff. There was one on the outskirts of Vilseck, that. So there's like a lot of different size ones. Some of them can take 20 minutes to get through, and some of them you can be done in like 4 or 5 minutes. This one in Leavenworth, it could be done in probably like 3-4 minutes. So it's pretty quick. So that's a really cool, thing. I think they have like whitewater rafting and all that during the wintertime. There's actual reindeer. I think they have a reindeer like ranch. I know they go really big for Christmas, especially in the center of the town area with like a big gazebo and everything. There's a bunch of trees, and they deck out. And then I believe they have like, they might be dog sleds. There's like a horse-drawn carriages during the spring and summer, horse-drawn sleigh. During the winter, I think there's snowmobiles, so it's very, very, it's like a, like Vail, in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado, very wintry, atmosphere. Then spring, summer, German vibe, very Bavarian, during the spring and summer. It's amazing. There's the Wenatchee, which I guess has like a lot of apple orchards and stuff, and so a lot of cool stuff in that area. So that's east by like an hour or so from Seattle. Now, whether you take the I-5 north, depending on what part of Washington you're in, and then the I-90 east to get to Leavenworth, or more of a scenic route is, instead of taking the I-90, you could also take Highway 2 from the I-5 to Highway 2 east, and that's more of a scenic route, and you'll end up coming through a canyon area next to a river in the Cacade Mountains, cutting through the Cacade Mountains to reach the west side of Leavenworth. So that place is really, really awesome. But once me and my mom left that area and we headed towards the Seattle area, we went to Seattle and we went to go visit the Seattle Aquarium. Had never been there before. So it's the interesting thing is, so the more western portion of Seattle, to get to the Seattle Aquarium, which is on the pier of the Puget Sound Pacific Ocean area, is that whole pier, and there's been a lot of construction. I think they're almost done. Doing a lot of upgrade construction in that area on the pier. So it's very heavy traffic and construction and everything. At least it was last Mother's Day of 2023. And the aquarium itself is on the pier, and it's like on the deck of the pier over the water. And it's not a huge aquarium. I've been to way bigger aquariums. And this one, to go from one side to the other all the way through and come back is like 30 minutes, and you're done. Unless of course you have kids, and they have like little aquarium pools for starfish and other things that you could actually put your hand into. They got the movable water waves and everything, and jellyfish, and a lot of cool stuff. So it was pretty interesting to see and go through one time, or to take your kids to and stuff. So quite interesting stuff there. In between Tacoma and Seattle, there is Wild Waves Theme Park, which is in the Federal Way area of Washington. It's a little north of the Tacoma Dome. It's a a water park. It has the many different water tubes. There's some other recreational thrill-seeking adventure things like a fairground. There's like the Wild Thing roller coaster. They definitely have. I know they've added some others. You can see it from the highway from I-5 when driving past it. I haven't been there in like over a decade, so I don't know all the details of everything that they've upgraded or changed out, or what they got rid of and what they have now. But it's still a fun water park once it warms up. So other things in Seattle, though, I mean, I know there's malls and there's hotels along the pier near the aquarium. There's even more stuff. There's like the Crab Pot, major seafood place, and then they have huge bucket of different variety of seafood you could throw in there, and then they dump it on the table, and you have little hammers and break everything open, and just dig in. Everything's in the center of the table and everything. Major like seafood buffet on your table. There's a little like a pier, almost like fairground, like what you would see in like San Francisco piers or LA piers or whatever. They got like a little fairground. There's a Ferris wheel thing like they have in London, England. You get on it for get a better view, and it's just a tour guide. It's a bubble thing. It's not you're not out in the elements, so it's enclosed like Ferris wheel. So, but there's restaurants in that area. There's little gaming arcades. So there's quite a bit of stuff in that area. And then I know there's malls and everything in that area. There's like over 100-year-old burger joint, the Red Mill, I believe it's called. It's been around for a long time. And when it warms up, there's it's out the door lines for like 3-4 blocks. I've never eaten there myself. It was on Man vs. Food when he was up in Seattle area. It's good to actually see a lot of those travel around cooking shows that go to different restaurants to the major cities, and what would these food experts they're going to try out or take part in a competition, and what would they recommend while in those areas, like Man vs. Food, but I know there's other ones as well. So now, okay, a little bit south of Seattle, in the Puyallup area, and I believe in it's Puyallup and Tacoma. There is a place known as Epic Center, and what is really unique about this place is it's a very like virtual reality kind of a video game arcade place, and it has the Omni Arena. And if you've never heard of the Virtue X Omni, you ever watch the movie Ready Player One, and they have that Omni platform where they get themselves all hooked up, strapped in, but then they run in place, but they're not actually going anywhere. It's like a movable treadmill, and you stay in one place kind of thing. That is the Omni Arena. They now have the Omni One, which you can actually buy online. I've taken part in the stocks and everything for that. I think it's going to be very huge here in the near future. They haven't gone international with the stock. They haven't officially opened it because they're still building up the company. But I bought a little stock in that in order to take part in that. And the Omni One platform is they send it to you at home. It's an octagon, circular kind of platform, and you stand on it, and it has this little little crane bar thing in the back that hooks you up to your vest and the virtual reality, and then you put on your anything else. You can even get a Wooger vest to add to your reality experience in virtual reality, so you can feel the vibrations and the hits and the punches and everything else. And so, yeah, Epic Center in Puyallup, and I believe there's another one in Yakima or something like that. I got to look it up, and it was a really fun thing. I went there before investing. I wanted to physically experience it myself, and it was a lot of fun. It was the Omni Arena was more into the prototype beginner version, and now the Omni One platform, which I'm betting they'll switch out in these places eventually for a more one-on-one experience. But they also had a little bit of interactive, like the golfing, virtual reality golfing with the pull-down screen and projector. They had like a dodgeball version of that and ultimate frisbee. They had some golfing stuff. They had those kids versions of like little bowling lanes and everything. It was quite cool. So I would definitely highly recommend that if you're in that area. The Tacoma, Washington area, Point Defiance Zoo and Aquarium in that area. I have not been to either of those in my entire life. We were hoping once we left this Seattle and head south that if we left early enough and had enough time, but by the time we left Seattle, because my mother does not like the city, especially in that area where it's like San Francisco, major super steep hills to get down to the pier area on the Pacific Ocean to where Seattle Aquarium was, and she hates crowds. She hates large crowds. So once we were done in that area, she was exhausted, tired, hungry, so we skipped and didn't go to the Point Defiance Zoo and Aquarium in Tacoma, and we just went to, I believe it was Chehalis, and ate at Plaza Jalisco Mexican food restaurant, and I'll get to that. So, then there's also, in Seattle, opens up at like 9:30 every day, 9:30 to 6. Woodland Park Zoo is up in Seattle as well. Okay, then, more southwestern Washington, Vancouver Mall. It's a, 2-story mall. It's been actually getting quite popular lately. A lot more crowds there. Almost, I believe, nearly every store is now filled. The multiple stores were like shutting down, and now it's refilled. A lot of newer, things there. It's a 2-story mall. It's got a 2-story movie theater in it. It's got a round one bowling / it's like a Dave & Buster's, a smaller version of Dave & Buster's video game arcade vibe. In Toledo, Washington, which is one of the towns that I grew up in, a smaller town, which is a little east of the I-5, I believe, from like exit 56 to 60 are different exits that you head east and can head towards Toledo. And on the outskirts of Toledo is a skydiving place. So let's see what else. Long Beach, Washington, which is on the coast. There are campgrounds, there's beaches and all of that. I believe even some KOA campsites somewhere around that area along the coast as well. In Aberdeen, Washington, there's the Mermaid Museum, and right about this time, from March to April time frame, for like a whole week, they do a mermaid festival, and they have other people. They have the tattooing henna people, and people do juggling and acrobatic stuff. Men, women, mermaids, mermen, pirate people dressing up in pirates. It's a whole festival, art gallery, or it's like a yard sale, a flea market kind of a thing. So it's a big old event, and there's food trucks, and there's a little restaurant and winery and stuff there. So Mermaid Museum in Aberdeen, Washington. Want to check that out. Of course, along the west coast, the actual coastline of Washington, there's the Scenic Highway 101. There's a lot of lighthouses and beaches, and then some of them you can pull over and camp out at, and then others, there might be little tiny houses or yurts or little cabins or motel hotels, campgrounds, KOA campgrounds, and other campgrounds, or things that you have to go through the website, book ahead of time, and then you can stay on the beach and all that kind of stuff. So, or pull out a bug out bag, or camp out, or have a beach fire. Some places are off limits and other places are not, so it just depends. Let's see, next thing, there are, this is becoming pretty popular in a lot of places, especially here in the Northwest, pedal rail riders. Is what they're known, or pedal rail cars, on train tracks that are either not being used at all but can still be a lot of fun, or tracks that the train does go on, but they coordinate it where it's either way before when the train is taken off on the tracks from the station, or afterwards. And so there's places. Let's see, Vance Creek Rail Rider, North Pend. O'Reilly RR, north of Spokane, Washington, Olympic Peninsula, and Shelton, Washington. And it's pretty much whether it be a 2-seater up to a 4-seater, on the train tracks, old school. It's a frame, like figure 8, like on a calculator, kind of when you see the 8th of that with wheels on each corner. There's pedals, and then most of them have electronic assist. So for some of you that even just want to do it, whether it's a couple of mile long up to several miles long, you don't even really need to pedal. If you can, great, where everybody works together. But if you get too tired, you activate the pedal assist. Then you can let your legs rest. You don't even have to pedal, but you're out amongst nature. You're on some railroad tracks, so you're going by through the forest and over a river bridge and through a gorge or whatever. So it seems like something really fun. And then if you add the electronic assist and you pedal, then you double your speed as well. So you go from 2-3 miles an hour. I could probably maybe get up to 8 or 9 miles per hour. So pedal rail riders, that's something to look up. It looks quite interesting and adventurous and fun. I definitely want to do it at some point. There's kayak rentals, like there is here in Ridgefield, Washington. There's also the Ridgefield Wildlife Refuge, and they're adding a lot more to that. They've done construction like a national park, a little state park kind of building, parking lot. Bathrooms, water fountains, electric car chargers, and for a few of them in the parking lot. It's a beautiful little area. And then of course, end of springtime, there's a little orchard, and there's plum trees and apple trees and some other fruits. I think some cherries and stuff out there. It's a nice area to walk through. There's I believe an oak tree with acorns on it that's over 400 years old near the end of the trail. So that's pretty cool. Let's see what else. Here in the Ridgefield, Washington, off exit 16 of the I-5, there's the A-Lene Casino. And as of, I believe, the beginning of this past summer of June of 2023, they finished construction and officially opened up a 14-story hotel attached to the casino. I know they've got a 5 or 7 stackable parking garage on top of the actual parking lot itself, and across the main field, across the way from the casino, there is also a Chevron gas station, a nice mini mart gas station, and across from that is it's a green stackable shipping container marijuana dispensary, and across the street from that is a Native American cigarette tobacco kind of a place. So now they say that they pronounce it here in the Northwest A-Lene, but that is actually a Polynesian word, and there's a town in Oahu, and I've been there. I was stationed in Oahu for 2 years on the island, a year in Afghanistan, and so the proper way to pronounce that is Iolani. So why they call it A-Lene, I don't know. Maybe Native Americans have that word and it means something else, but it confused me being a rideshare driver whenever it was we're heading to the A-Lene casino, because I have always known that word as Iolani. So let's see. And also in the Old Town Ridgefield, which is off exit 14 in the area I live closer to the freeway and the newer area, where a lot of businesses, Rosaire's grocery stores down the street. There's a plaza, and they're just adding so much more here soon. Very soon, right off exit 14, we're going to have a Costco, and then we're also going to have the very first Washington State In-N-Out Burger, and I believe both of those are going to be opening sometime in 2026. If I have to guess, it's going to be springtime is when that will be officially open. right down the road, past the Chevron gas station, off exit 14 of the I-5, and past the Vancouver Clinic. There's a little bit more down the road. There's going to be a right off to the right-hand side, the same side where the Costco is going to be. There's going to be a opened YMCA as well. So, and we got like two different plazas that are attached to the parking lot of Rosaires, a grocery store, and that has its own gas station, and here in the near future will have its own car wash. And then another plaza behind, in between my apartment complex and Rosaires, and there's a Playmakers, a sports bar and grill. There's a nail salon place, a pet salon place. There's Papa Murphy's, drive-through Starbucks. We also have our own veterinary clinic now, flooring place, review. I think it's that bank credit union, I think it is. We have some clothing stores. We've got some sort of fitness center, I forget the name of it. Hair saloning, art decor, home decor kind of a place. And I believe we're supposed to have an ice cream shop either this spring or summer, is what I was told from a nearby local ice cream food truck delivery place. They're going to open in one of these plaza stores. So, and of course in the Old Town, so off exit 14 heading west into Old Town, Ridgefield, now down where like, the original town, where the, what is that, marina, to get to the marina in Old Town Ridgefield, on the wildlife refuge and all that. There's multiple little small businesses, the Sportsman, it's like a Wild Wild West saloon, bar, grill place, food, bar, pool table. They do concerts like every Thursday and Saturday, I believe, live concerts, as long as they can book somebody. The food's pretty good. There's other little restaurants and cafes, little, old school hardware store. I believe there's a little skating, outdoor skate park right around there. They opened something new near the little mini mart and hardware store right across from the hardware and the barber shop. They have food trucks, and so there's like a barbecue place, Sugar's Barbecue. There's a taco place. There's a couple different food trucks in that area. So, but they're only open at certain days and certain times. You kind of have to look that up. Let's see, in the western corner area, the shoulder area, the sticking out shoulder area of Washington, there's the Olympic National Park, and that has like Solduck Falls. There's Hot Springs, that's all in like the north central entrance area. There are park rangers at gates. If you don't have the park ranger for national park and state park pass of some kind, a paid for pass, it's like $30 to get in for a day pass. And then there's like Madison Falls in that area as well, little hidden waterfall in its own little cave-like canyon, hidden in a little canyon corner. There's also, in the main portion of Washington, so northeast of Seattle, there's Cascade National Park, which I actually have never been to that one. It's really far north. You're like talking 4 or 5 hour drive from where I live to get there. So, when you run the shoulder area, so around that shoulder area is pretty much the main portion of that area, the shoulder area of Washington State, is where Olympic National Park is located. And on the top central area, you actually pass it, there where the hot springs are. There's like a check-in place, there's souvenirs, and there's a little restaurant, and it's like tapped-in hot spring, man-made pools, hot tub pools and everything. And then, but they rent out cabins as well as like almost like KOA little mini cabins. I don't remember how many, like a dozen or so, maybe 24 little cabins you can book out to stay out there. A lot of different hiking trails in the area. I've explored a little bit, like probably 20% of that national park. I know there's a lot more that I haven't seen. I know that, that's like the very north central portion of the shoulder area is where the Solduck Falls and those hot springs and all that are. If you go over to the actual west side near the coast, there's another entrance. There's more hiking trails, deep old school forests. I have not gone into the Olympic National Park portion of that, not yet. So this spring and summer I'm going to do that. And near that entrance area, it's a bit little north of Forks, Washington, which is also where Twilight was filmed, is Lake Crescent Lodge. And in that area, there's an old school forest you can walk through. And then there's Marymere Falls, just a little east from the Lake Crescent Lodge. Now, what's really cool about that, there's the actual main lodge. There's big, the whole deck wraps around it. There's like rocking chairs. There's actual like swimming deck. You go out there and jump off of the deck and everything. It's super clean, clear water. When it's super hot outside, it's a wonderful place to swim. And then, certain days, certain times, you can rent out canoes and kayaks and all that kind of stuff, or bring your own. They also have little tiny cabins you can rent out, some of really small ones, almost like tiny houses, with little decks with little rocking chairs on each deck, or some of the bigger cabins that have their own little rock fireplace attached and all that kind of stuff. That whole area is just super gorgeous, so highly recommend. I want to actually go and stay there at some point in time, and they have their own little restaurant, but very limited amount of food and stuff of what they carry out there, and they have their own little souvenir shop and stuff too. There's Lower Lewis River Falls, which is in the Cougar, Washington area, or just a little east of that. And pretty much there's, let's see, that's like, get off the I-5 for Woodland, Washington, which is a little north of Ridgefield, then head directly east and you'll pass like Yale Lake is out there as well. And then, once you hit like Cougar, you're pretty close to the area. And then I believe nowadays that, there's Lower Lewis River Falls, and then you keep hiking, I believe, east from there, and that's where the main like parking lot, and you can like book, it's like, I think, a camp spot, a parking lot and all that. There's park rangers. It's become a lot more well known and popular because of that, you have to like book things online. Or there's a nearby, park ranger station you could stop and see if there's any availability. They can call ahead. To even just park on the, side of the road, you need a permit and everything. Otherwise, you get tickets and towed and all that. So, and there's also like the lava caves are nearby that area as well. Lava tube caves you can hike through and all that. Hopefully, have good flashlights, headlamps, all that kind of stuff. So you go out there, and then as you're passing, Lower Lewis River Falls, you keep heading east. It's a good hike. There's a couple mile hike. Altogether, I think it's 5 miles to go all the way from one end to the other. You pass a middle Lewis River Falls, and then you get to upper Lewis River Falls. And then people with like bug out bags and stuff like that sometimes do stay out there and camp as well. I've thought about it myself, and beautiful area, and if it's hot enough and the water's not flowing in certain areas, especially like middle Lewis River Falls, and even at the base of Lower Lewis River Falls, people swim and stuff in there too. Beautiful pools of really cold water. There's a little bit of fish in there. Some people even bring like little kayaks and stuff, especially nowadays we have like Tuk-Tek or other origami foldable, more compact kind of kayaks. I have a Tuk-Tek myself. So let's see, Mount Rainier National Park, which is of course where Mount Rainier is located. There is Paradise Inn, near like it's like a ski lodge place near the top of one of the viewing areas at the base of Mount Rainier. Um, there's different prices for the rooms. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head of what the prices are. I know I inputted that on my Google reviews for the Paradise Inn. I took pictures inside and out of the surrounding area of the Paradise Inn Lodge. And then I got prices, daily prices for different seasons, and restaurant and times and everything. It's a beautiful, like rock and log cabin. It's been around for a long time. And there in that area, there's a pedal rail car in Eatonville as well. So and that's newer, I believe, since last summer. I think that opened up. And in that right outside of Mount Rainier National Park, I believe on the west side, I can't remember the name of the town. It's you go right through it. You cross a little bridge over a river to get to it. It's a weird name. It's like a four-letter name, so, But there's a lake right there. There's an area for swimming and kayaking and all that. And there's like these little old school train cars. That's a hotel and a restaurant. I believe right across there's like a little burger, a small town burger shop next to a gas station, ice cream and burgers and all that kind of stuff. Really old school, small town kind of things. But haven't eaten there, but I want to check it out. And that's that is actually a little south of, I cut through there to get to that, the Puyallup, coming from south and north of that Puyallup to get to that Epic Center with the Omni Arena. So, let's see what else. There is Bungee Masters in Amboy, Washington. That's bungee jumping. Had an old high school female friend right out of high school who worked there for a little while, and was hoping to go out there and see her and try bungee jumping for the very first time. Unfortunately, the day I went out there, she was not working. So, but I did it. I jumped. It was off a bridge over a river, looking towards, I believe, Mount St. Helens. And I jumped forwards and I jumped backwards, and it was a pretty crazy experience. Probably couldn't do it now with, being older and having a lower back injury that could mess me up. But, so Bungee Masters in Amboy, Washington. There's Sky Zone Trampoline Park in Vancouver off 4th Plain Boulevard. So that could be fun for people like trampolines or the, like ball pits or cushioning pits. So, young kids who, want to just be, crazy little monsters and run around and get all their energy out and all that kind of stuff. I'm not sure they have like the gladiator pugil fighting and all that. Every place is a little different, but so there's that. Moving on. There's let's see, in Vancouver Trap Club, skeet. There's skeet and archery out there. There's National Wing and Clay Shooting School. Let's see, ferries out to the San Juan Islands, like Orca Island, and all that. That's in the Puget Sound area, whether it be from Seattle or maybe even in the shoulder area. There's probably certain ports. Got to look up different locations to get on a ferry to go onto the different San Juan Islands. I have actually not done that myself. I would really like to do that. Go out there and check out these islands I've never, I've heard about and seen, but so maybe one day I'll go do that. Kayaking and canoeing rentals out in Camas and Vancouver. Let's see, the Pearson Museum and the Little Mini Airport at the Fort Vancouver location. I have been to the museum. I was, my very first duty station as an Army Reserve soldier was on Fort Vancouver, more up on the hill, closer to the Vancouver Library. That's off exit 1C. on the, what is that, east side off exit 1C of the I-5. There's a Vancouver Library, and then just south of that is Fort Vancouver, the whole park area and all that. Right there on the parade field area that's fenced off with like an old school wooden fence. Those buildings is one of those buildings where I worked. Down further down the hill, there's the original walled off log fort. And all of that, and either it's ran by park rangers, so you either have to pay a couple of bucks for a pass, or get like a national park pass, and you can pick them up from there too. It's one of those locations that you can buy them for other national parks. So and they sometimes there's like tour guides. They talk about Fort Vancouver. Sometimes they have like old infantry sword fighting training there. Blacksmiths are out there quite frequently. You got different people who will talk about the history of Fort Vancouver with military life, or traders coming out there and fur trading, and then how they're doing archaeology in that area and digging things up all the time. It's pretty cool. You can learn a lot in that area. So in the Camas area, there's also Safe Fire, a place called Safe Fire. It's an indoor gun range. Me and a college buddy have been there a few times. Let's see. In the southeastern portion of Vancouver, there's Big Al's Bowling, and it's really nice. It's kind of like a ginormous, super Bass Pro Shop, log cabin, wilderness vibe bowling alley, and a little bit of like a slight round one bowling alley with the video games and all that. And there's a restaurant. They have pool tables and other and ping pong tables and some other things there. So Big Al's Bowling is a really nice bowling alley. So horseback riding and training for kids. I know that is a big thing, like throughout all of Washington, especially here in the Ridgefield area. We got the main road going from Rosaire's little circle roundabout up to a back road that gets us to the A Casino, and there are ranches and farms and wineries and horse training, and the little mini, you can be trained on a horse and then do the little jumps and all that kind of stuff. So all of that is in this area for young people. There's other horses, and there's farms, and I've seen alpacas and llamas and sheep and all that kind of stuff. So, and you even see signs, like if you're heading from like the casino or here in Ridgefield towards the wildlife refuge, you see some signs of people who have a bunch of like chickens and are selling fresh eggs and stuff too. So bring a little cash with you and you can get fresh eggs. There's local paintballing places, and I guess Ford, Washington, Arlington, Washington, Elma, Vancouver, Grapeview, Graham, and Woodland, Washington. There are different paintball location places. Some of those places do airsoft and stuff too. Hot air ballooning is in Burien, B-U-R-I-E-N, Burien, Woodinville, Snowham, are different locations in Washington. They can do hot air ballooning, probably spring, summer, and as long as the weather's nice. So it depends on like trade winds and all that kind of stuff. There's train rides. You got to look those up in different locations, and there's also Amtrak normal train traveling as well. But there's like tour guide, go out 30 minutes to 45 minutes to one place, get off, and explore the area for 45 minutes to an hour, get back on the train and head back, kind of a place. Chalachi Prairie Railroad in Yolcott, Washington. And then there's Chehalis Centralia Railroad. Beacon Rock off Highway 14. Beacon Rock is unique hiking trail. And then let's see what else. Carson Hot Springs, and there's a golf course and a spa resort near Carson Hot Springs. That's in Carson, Washington. For us, that would be east of Highway 14. You keep going east till you pretty much hit Carson. Carson is one of those super small towns with one four-way blinking like red or orange light intersection. When you hit that, looks like an old Wild Wild West town. You get to it from Highway 14. You head east. You go a few miles down the hill, and then you'll see signs and all that. I think you turn into one road to the golf course area, and then you turn immediately right, go down a canyon hill, and there's the Carson Hot Springs. It's like an old saloon, Wild Wild West town kind of hotel and like bathhouse hot springs in a wilderness gorge. Panther Creek Falls, that is a bit north. I think it's 13, 14 miles north, little tiny bit northeast of Carson, Washington. There's roads. You put in your GPS while you're in Carson, Washington. It'll take you right out there. It's off of a wilderness road. There's a little gravel parking lot, and then you can walk down. It's a simple downhill zigzag. It's like a Z, and then you're at a viewing platform for Panther Creek Falls. And then they built before someone went back up to the main road, walked down a little bit, saw this, created a trail with rope and everything to get down to the base of Panther Creek, and to make it more safe. Last time I went out there, I found out that they built an entire wooden deck with stairs and all that. So instead of like hiking down a dirt hill and possibly injuring yourself, there's an actual wooden deck as another viewing platform at the base of Panther Creek instead of the one above. So two different viewing platforms for Panther Creek Falls. In that same area, instead of going a little bit more, it's a little further north from Panther Creek off the main road, and then you head directly east, and eventually hit a dirt road it's like a mile or two dirt road, circle gravel parking lot. There's like a national park outhouse restroom, and then there's the beginning hiking trail, which I cannot remember off the top of my head how far of a distance that is. I believe it's about 5 miles, 5.8, something like that. No, it's like 1.8 miles to Falls Creek Falls, which is actually that waterfall right there. That's Falls Creek Falls. I forgot to mention, this is Lower Lewis River Falls, so in the east of Cougar, Washington. That's Falls Creek Falls, north of Carson, Washington. So let's see. Now in Kalama, Washington, there is right off the highway a place with a big red, glowing letter signs. It's this public marketplace. It's right in the same field area as the what do they call that place? McMiniman's store, hotel, restaurant, and that the actual name for it is the Mount Timber Market. It's like an indoor with and all the stores that are in there. So it's like a little flea market kind of a place. 2 stories. The second floor eventually will have a restaurant, and there's board meeting rooms and everything. The bottom floor is all there's bakery, there's a coffee shop, there's a plant shop, there's art decor, there's a little art gallery, a professional, like very glossy, high-end art portraits. There was a little shop that sells a variety of knick-knack kind of place with gelato and everything. And not even all the stores were not even filled the last time I went a couple of months ago. So, and what's cool about them is all the stores that are inside, when the warms up, they have like garage sliding doors with a concrete porch. So then they can open up the business to the outdoors, pull out some folding tables, and then have things inside and outside. So if you haven't been to probably stores will change in and out. They had an amazing cupcake and cookie bakery that even had unique dessert smelling candles. I bought one of them. It was like a German chocolate cake smelling candles. Amazing. Off exit 9 of the I-5, which is just a few miles south of me here in Ridgefield. Technically, it's very, very southern tip of Ridgefield is the Clark County Fairgrounds. They have like RV shows, gun shows, and other things. And behind that is also the RV Inn Amphitheater. The main portion of the amphitheater near the actual stage is all covered. But then beyond that, beyond certain stadium seating, it's grass field that you could sit and you're outside and all that. I have been there and seen one concert. I believe it was last September, of 2023, for a major birthday present to myself for my 30th birthday. And I saw Lindsey Sterling in concert. So I believe, which one was it? I can't remember. It wasn't Artemis. It was the one after that. But I got to meet and greet with her, with pretty much the other VIP group people. And then I actually got to, I paid a little bit more to get a signed, a little mini hand-signed, autograph photo thing, a poster of her, more personalized one. And then I spent a little extra money, a couple extra $100. It was like, $260 or something like that. And then got to meet her in person with a small group of about 10 to 12 people, where we each got to get some pictures and talk to her for about 4 to 5 minutes one-on-one. So that was a lot of fun. So they do a lot of different events and different concerts at the Clark County Fairground. And then during the summer, I think June or July beginning all the way to like August or whatever, it's like a month long or whatever, it's the full Clark County Fairground, actual fairground. There's the games and the Ring of Fire and the slingshot and the spinning UFO, does gravity and holds you against all that, the little roller coasters, and then the shooting of hoops and throwing things and the rings over the bottles and all that kind of stuff. An actual normal fairground. And the deep fried Oreos and Twinkies and Snickers and all that kind of stuff. And was it elephant ear like donut kind of stuff with powdered sugar all over it, the really unhealthy stuff for you. That is about everything for major activities within Washington State that I can think of. There, are so many other places. Lake Chelan area I have never been to. So there's resorts, there's golf courses everywhere. There's probably gun ranges. One of my favorite barbecue places in probably all of Washington that I've been to. Daddy D's Barbecue is their main place is in Woodland. There's another place in downtown Vancouver that's actually inside of a Shell station. There's Smokin' Oak in Vancouver and all that. But yeah, there's other gun ranges, archery places. There's a lot more recreational facilities that are popping up. A lot more plazas popping up everywhere. Clark County, the county that I'm in, it's like the second county within Washington State for like the past 2 to 3 years that has been blowing up with more housing, apartments, gated community places, brand new house, what do they call that? Suburbs, and then little mini plazas. They're trying to make it where instead of, you have far away shopping malls and everything, and then other areas, everything's like separated from each other, of housing and apartments, and then to take a bus or a taxi or walk or bike ride or drive to where all the shopping plazas are. They're trying to mix them all together within the spaces. It's like, hey, let's mix it up, plaza and then apartments, and then on the other side is like housing, and then there's another plaza, and then there's grocery stores, and there's restaurants and everything, so, and there's a wildlife refuge or some kind of park or something. They're trying to, little pockets instead of big pocket areas of everything separated. It's now they're trying to do little pockets, kind of like what they're doing at the waterfront. And that's a part of the food, restaurant, recreational things I'm about to get into. So let's see. Oh, and then so major food places that I would highly recommend. Plaza Jalisco, but it's spelled Jalisco. And so it's Plaza Jalisco. To me, one of the best authentic Mexican food restaurant places in the entire United States, in my personal opinion. Specifically, the absolute best one, the highest rating one, with the best food, has a family who's been a family-owned business, and I think they've been running it for 29 years now, right about. And it's the only one out of all the Plaza Jaliscos that I know of that for every full meal that you purchase, they give you a free French vanilla ice cream with cinnamon and honey and chocolate syrup with the cinnamon chip sopapilla. Each person who gets a full meal gets that at the end of the meal, unless you tell them, I don't want it. So that's in Kelso, Washington, which is off of exit 39 of the I-5. Heading west, you have to immediately cross over the river. I believe that's the Cowlitz River, I believe. And then, it's right in that area. As soon as you pass it, there's past like a Red Canoe coffee shop or something. There's a little like a dry cleaner and little dealership, and on the other side of the dealership is Plaza Jalisco. So there used to be multiple other locations. One in Kelso, Forks, Morton, Washington, which is not far from Mount Rainier National Park, Chehalis, Napavine, Tumwater, and Astoria. And now I found out the one in Forks and Morton are now closed. So instead of 7 locations, we're down to 5. The Astoria one was actually closed for a while because someone drove their vehicle into it, but I heard it's open again. So, and almost all of them, I believe, are like 4.5, 4.8 rated. I think the Tumwater is like 3.9, but all the others are in the mid 4.0 range. Astoria used to be solid 5.0, and now it's like 4.7 or something. They said that that was the best one. I've never been there, so I can't compare it. But I've been to Napavine, I've been to Chehalis one many times. They to me, they're about the same, and the Kelso one is like perfect, on point. And some of the best meals there are their fajitas and enchiladas. The enchiladas are phenomenal. Perfection, okay? No, I've been to 45 states. I've tried Mexican food in all these other places. Only one other place was like one notch below Plaza Jalisco in Kelso, and that was, I think, Tequila's in Pagosa Hot Springs, Colorado. Their food was like one notch below the one from Kelso, Washington. All the others just are crap, in my opinion, that I've been to. I have not been to every single one in the entire, United States. So, Pancake House in Longview, Washington, which is also, it's like been going on for like 51 years. It's a pancake house, so at whatever time they open up, I know it's early in the morning, like 5 or 6 in the morning, but they close at 1:30 p.m. I do know that. So if you don't get into the door and get a seat by 1:30 p.m., they have to deny you. So, but it has some of the best breakfast food, lunch food, dinner food. They've been around for 51 years. They've been on some cooking, travel channel stuff. A couple of them, they're very well known. They're near the Lake Sacagawea, near St. John's Hospital in Longview. They're right next door to a Burger King. So definitely, and they're roll-up crepes. They've got I think it's 10 or 12 different flavored roll-up crepes. They have an old school hot chocolate machine. Their scrambled eggs are some of the best, most fluffiest, and their bacon is perfect too. Burger places. One of my absolute favorites is in Castle Rock off the I-5 freeway, exit 49, immediately on the east side and inside of a Shell gas station right off of exit 49 of the freeway. It's called Gateway Burger. And they have they use the freshest of every single ingredient, and their burgers are probably some of the best in the area, in the Northwest, in my opinion. Another great burger joint, which is also in Longview, Washington, is Nips. And that's off Ocean Beach Highway across from the Three Rivers Mall complex. There's an Applebee's over there. It used to be out in front of a Sizzler, and now that Sizzler has actually gone away, and is its own new steakhouse place. And but I don't know if it's good or not. I was saying a little bit about this before. Best Louisiana style barbecue is Daddy D's Barbecue, and they're like barbecue ribs and stuff drenched in Louisiana barbecue sauce too. And there's one in Woodland, Vancouver, and I heard that they're opening more places. I believe they also opened a concession stand in the Mata Center in Portland, Oregon. Five Guys is another great burger joint. Wingstop as well. Multiple, I think it's 10 or 12 different styles of Wingstop, and their Parmesan garlic fries and their homemade in-house ranch dressing, phenomenal. Killer Burger. Killer Burgers are pretty good. I've never had any issue with the Killer, and they do kind of unique burgers. They can create some unique flavor combos. Down in Vancouver, Washington, not far from the waterfront, there's the Smoke and Oak Barbecue. And they were phenomenal, and then COVID-19 happened. They had to cut back on ingredients and stuff, so then they weren't phenomenal. They're coming back. So me and Mama ate there, and their food and nachos and everything were quite excellent, very, very tasty. So they're doing a lot better. Black Bear Diners are pretty popular as well. Really good food, especially breakfast food. So amazing, kind of French toast and waffles and all of that. And then they make their own pies and everything, and it has a very, log cabin, Pacific Northwest log cabin, a vibe to it. So it's like a diner, like a log cabin in the middle of the wilderness. Diner atmosphere mixed with an awesome pancake house. I talked about over in Spokane, Washington. It's probably one of the best Texas styled barbecue places I've eaten at, which is Outlaw Barbecue in Spokane. In the local area, and this is in Carson, Washington, was the first one I ever went to. So even a small town, it's very well known, and they're expanding. The Backwoods Brewery, and they have some of their own unique ales and everything, but they make really incredible barbecue, pizzas, burgers. I believe they have their own some newer locations both in downtown Portland and in Beaverton is the newest one. And the interesting thing for what they told me, this is kind of a unique strategy, is whatever they have on their menu for one location, they will not have the same menu at the other locations. Every location, completely different food. Now they also might, but they might say take one thing off one menu in one location and move it to another and try it out and rotate it and stuff. So very unique. But what I also love is it's all homemade, and then they'll take barbecue brisket or ribs or pulled pork, and they add it to some of their pizzas and stuff. So they're smoking, they're barbecuing, they're cooking burgers and adding certain barbecue stuff onto their burgers and their pizzas. It's freaking amazing. If you have not been to a Backwoods Brewery here in the Northwest, highly recommend it. Great food all the way around, and a lot of different ales and everything too. Um, Tons of sherry cafes and pies, and Denny's, of course. Their food is pretty much always great, you know, right up there with Black Bear Diners. And I think Black Bear Diner is actually like a little notch above those. It's kind of like a Sherry's Cafe and a Denny's combined together in a log cabin atmosphere, you know, like a diner, log cabin diner. Um, Up in Silverdale, Washington, and Sequim, the Oak Table Cafe. I believe that was like a Bulgarian style or something. It was like very unique. Pancake house. I guess it's really, really popular and well known up there. So, this place me and my mom just took one of my college buddies to out to eat because we really, really love it. Kyoto Japanese Steakhouse. There's one in Longview, very close to the St. John's Hospital, and then one in downtown Vancouver, off like, what was it, Mill Plain and 164th in that area. Not far from the Big Owl's bowling alley. It's like just north of there. And they do the whole hibachi, show stuff. And we really love it. It's great food, really healthy for you, and you get like a hibachi meal, steak and shrimp and rice and the veggies, or chicken, rice and veggies, chicken and shrimp. You get steak, chicken, and shrimp hibachi. You can mix it up and all that kind of stuff. And there, of course, a drink. And then there, you can get appetizers when you get the whole hibachi meal. And their appetizer is like a small bowl of salad with ginger dressing. It's awesome. My mom doesn't like it, so I usually eat hers. And then there's a small bowl of onion soup with mushrooms and stuff in it, and it is phenomenal. This last time I went, my buddy, college buddy, didn't like the onion soup thing, so he gave me his onion soup, and my mom doesn't like the ginger dressing on the salad, so she gave me her salads. I had 2 salads and 2 things of onion soup. Then I had my full hibachi meal, rice with the eggs in it, and their sauces, and the sauces within the veggies, and I had steak bites, chicken bites, and shrimp. I only ate probably about half the meal and then took the rest home. And then they have their unique ice cream mochi bun things, which is like an ice cream inside of a sweet, almost like a dough. It's a very weird. It's kind of like their buns, kind of thing. So, pork buns is kind of very similar to pork buns, but it's a dessert kind of style. Very neat. And then, of course, they got sake, normal warm sake, and then they got different flavored cold sakes. I believe they had a peach sake that I tried at one time and took most of the bottle home. So, and a good show. You can you don't have to do the hibachi show. Or you could just get a normal booth or dining table and all that. You tell them what they want, they'll do it up for you and then bring it to you. So, Kyoto Japanese Steakhouse, highly recommend. Great food. There's Stuffy's, I believe that is a place in Longview. It's very well known. The casino also has its own restaurants like Smash Burger and Michael Jordan Steakhouse. I got my very first Tomahawk Steakhouse there, and they had a grand piano. And there's like an Asian cuisine place. They have several. They keep changing them up. So how here in Rosaires, my local grocery store, which is the furthest one from Spokane. The closest one, other than this one here in Ridgefield, is in Spokane, is Rosaires. They have their own gas station. We're going to have a car wash here in the near future, right by the gas station pumps. It has its own coffee shop as well. And then, but out in front of the plaza for Rosaires, and Rosaires has amazing pizza and amazing fried chicken. Like, it's up there, if not surpassing KFC. So, and they have their own salad bar, soup bar, everything within the store. We have a Mod's Pizza out in front of, which is connected to a Oasis Dental. Is where I go to get my dental work done. There's a Ichi Teriyaki place. There is they keep switching places out. Taps Brewery. And I hear they have good wings and everything. We have now Playmakers as well. Really great. That food was amazing for a sports bar. And so, near the, I talked about that. Yeah. Stuff in Seattle. Okay, I already did that. Down on the waterfront, amazing restaurants all the way around. Some of them a little bit more pricey than they should be. Down the waterfront, we got Twig's Bistro. Everything me and my mom ate. Their bread was amazing. Her margarita, I think she had a huckleberry margarita. I had a huckleberry tea, and it was amazing. Their flatbread was amazing. Burger was amazing. Everything was amazing there. So Twig's Bistro, highly recommend. Wildfin, which is right up next to Twig's Bistro. We had a fondue platter, which was really good. I think I had like some sort of Korean barbecued ribs, which were really good. My mom had, I believe, some salmon and stuff, which it was decent food. I would give her like an 8 out of a 10. Next door, attached to the same building of the Wildfin, is Latin Kitchen. That's up on the 2nd floor. Beautiful, amazing view from there. High-end food. They even had like a little lantern thing where they would smoke a liquor drink inside the lantern case. So, food was very creative, very unique. I'd give it like a 7 out of a 10. I think they even had like alligator leather seats and stuff. So a great place to take like a date to and stuff. Chandeliers and all that. Very high end, nice place to take a date on. Let's see, Grassa, right across the street from the Wildfin, and it's an Italian bistro. So they had different takes of lasagna with like the tube noodles, the tunnel tube noodles, and then more recently they keep changing the menus. They used eggplant parmesan instead to make their version of lasagna, but it was good. Right next to that is a new place now, Salt and Straw Ice Cream. It was really good. Stack 571 burger joint, very unique flavored burgers, and their Parmesan garlic fries were awesome. I think I had a pear burger was the first time I went there, and it was really good. Right down the road from that, or connected to it, the Yard Shake Bar. So they use like old school, glass jars. You can get them in cups, and I think maybe even the waffle cones and stuff. It's like an ice cream parlor, but it shakes, and very, very high end, very rich. First time I tried it, I ate about 85-90% of it, and I was like bouncing off the walls. I had a major sugar buzz. 13 Coins. It's like a French breakfast place, but they have lunch and dinner stuff. So it's kind of like the Pancake House in Longview, Washington, but yet it does not close at a normal Pancake House hours, and it's French themed. So I can tell you that there's sourdough, French toast, scrambled eggs, bacon, a little bit of grapefruits and all that. Oh, that was awesome. Very high quality. And out in front of the 13 Coins is very expensive place called El Gacho. It's a steakhouse. This was a bit of an experience. Great food all the way around. Half of the menu, I think, is way overpriced. And it's more about the experience than the food. I felt like I was on the Titanic, and you had like super professional butlers. How may I be of service to you, ma'am or sir? It's very high end. They even have a back cigar room as well. And they'll do the whole like a ginormous push cart, and certain things they'll make right in front of you, like a homemade Caesar salad and a ginormous carved out bowl, and then flip it and all that kind of stuff. So it's a bit of more of the experience. I had a high-end steak with truffle butter added to it, And for the price of that one steak, no sides, just the steak and the truffle butter, I think was like $180. What I got reminded me of what I got from Longhorn Steakhouse in Colorado Springs. The closest one to us is in Boise, Idaho. I hope they bring one this far west eventually. That was one of the highest quality steaks. And I could have gotten 3 of those at what I got for El Gacho for that one steak. I would have gotten 3 steaks with 2 sides for each steak and bread and a drink. So one meal at El Gacho was worth 3 at Longhorn Steakhouse. Now the steak was phenomenal. We had some sort of I forget, it was an onion soup with cheese on it or something, and a cast iron skillet. I think we had some sort of like appetizer platter of some kind, and we did try. Was it goat milk cheesecake? And it was phenomenal. Not only is it really healthy for you, but it tastes just as good as like a New York or Chicago style cheesecake. That wasn't overly priced. So, but everything was great. The food was great. So it's 10 out of 10 stars. But that's one of those places that you go to, high-end steakhouse, like once a year for your birthday, anniversary kind of a thing. But I think half the menu is overpriced, personally. Let's see what else. So off of Highway 503, going from pretty much Battleground south to Vancouver, off of what was it? Northeast 72nd Street, right across the street from Fred Meyer's. There used to be a place there that I liked going to. Thai Barbecue Cuisine was its name. I just went back there yesterday and found out that old owner, closed down. A new owner took its place. I guess it's a chain, and it's a really good chain. Pure Thai, and it's a Pure Thai cafe. They have their Thai tea with the coconut milk, just like the Thai barbecue cuisine place had. I've never had that before with the coconut milk. It's phenomenal. If you've never had it, definitely try it. I highly recommend it. And then I got a thing of, it was jasmine, a big scoop. I couldn't even eat it all, of jasmine white rice in a bowl with I think it was baby spinach leaves, broccoli, there's some kind of sauce with pork fat, belly pork fat. Chunks, and I added shrimp to it. That with the drink, $25. And then I got my mom some crispy spring rolls, and I got myself a second drink, and then left a tip, and then all the other, you're talking 40-ish bucks, I think it was, right about $45. So if you've never tried this Pure Thai chain food, I guess there was one of them in Hazeldale, they said. Never heard of them, but they are phenomenal food when it comes to Taiwanese cuisine. Let's see. Oh, okay. That place near the west entrance of Mount Rainier National Park. It's old train, railroad cars, restaurant, and hotels. It's in Elbe, Washington, and it's right next to a lake. And you go a little north from those train cars that are a restaurant and hotel. And then there's a churn off to the right, and that takes you up into the Puyallup area. But there's a little churn off to the left right by the lake. Go through the wilderness, and there's parking lot and all that, and there's swimming and stuff there. So it's a little swimming hole on that little lake. All right, so that's La Center. In La Center, which is off exit 16 of the I-5, you see the Aline Casino right there off the freeway on the west side of the exit 16 here in Ridgefield. But if you head east, going from where that casino is, head east off the freeway, you get into La Center. in La Center, there is a place called Sadie and Josie's Bakery, and it is phenomenal. They are coming up with some incredible bakery creations. I just saw one that I've never heard. It was like I think a banana pudding muffins. There was a raspberry coconut white chocolate chip muffins. One of my favorite things that they do is the chocolate chip with walnut cookies. And then they do fudges and sourdough breads and sweet breads and muffins and fudge and peanut butter balls dipped in chocolate and shortbread, and they do cakes and cream pies and unique cheesecakes. They have donuts. They're really well known for their what was that? My mom loves bear claws. And they're really well known for their bear claws. They run out of that faster than anything else. So Sadie and Josie's Bakery, and I've heard that they do have other locations. I believe one is in Astoria as well. Down in southeastern Vancouver, very close to I think a little north of where the Big Al's bowling alley is. World Market. There's a World Market shopping center, and what I really, really like about that place, it's a hidden little gem. I thought that it was a place that, sold foreign, like Asian food and or ingredients to take home and cook at home, but I was completely wrong. It's kind of like a Bed Bath & Beyond, and in the you have furniture and decor items and unique furniture and things from around the world, and you get like your Buddhist monk Hinduism statues and other things. But in the back, there's tons of desserts and food and pastries and biscuits, things from like several foreign countries, whether it be Italy or England, London, England, Australia. You got your Canberry stuff. I got Japan food. A lot of unique things. You get all your different flavored mixture syrups for chai teas and coffees and everything. The bottles, they have different flavored margarita mixer stuff. They got the things of olives and everything, salami. You name it. They've got all different kinds of stuff. So foreign country. Snacks from like 7 to 10 different countries. It's a great place to get like unique foreign country foods. I've taken my mom there. She loves it to death and all that. I'd like to hopefully take one, some of my brothers and other people down the line. So let's see. That's about everything I have for Washington State. Let's go into Oregon, and there's very little for Idaho. So for Oregon, fun activity places to check out. Crater Lake National Park. Been around for a long time. There's a lodge there. You can book things online. It's beautiful all year round. Very unique, like worldly atmosphere around there. And the drive around the whole, actual Crater Lake is a pretty spectacular sight. Let's see. Out and About Treehouse Tree Resort. LLC, and then Cave Junction, Oregon, and it's glamping and zip lining in that area too. So Out and About Treehouse Tree Resort is online as a major glamping place, and they keep building upon it. Tree houses that are close to the ground, and other tree houses that are, the majesty. It's like really high up, 30, 40 feet high into the trees. Zip lining in Oregon. There's a place in North Plains, Warrenton, Gaston, Klamath Falls, Central Point, Scott Mills, Cave Junction, and Seaside, Oregon. All those places have some form of zip lining in the area that you'd have to look up online. A place I actually just booked to do a little getaway here this coming weekend for a little paid-for camping spot that I'm going to take my bug-out bag and go camp out for 2 days and then visit the local area. Belknap Hot Springs. It's on the McKenzie River, McKenzie Bridge, Oregon. And the way I always remember how to spell it is B-elk-nap, a Belknap. And it's right on a river, and they have a bridge, and they've have a tube underneath the bridge tapped in on the other side of the river into a natural hot spring. And then they, pull it through the tube, and then they filter it, they cool it down a little bit, and then they put it in their updated, refurbished little pool during the spring and summertime. There's like lots of flowers and stuff everywhere. They have RV parking spots. On the other side of the river, they have paid-for camping spots with picnic tables and little burn pits. Outdoor, a full building for showers and restrooms for men and women. They have grass spots for picnics, walk around areas like bamboo, little forest. They have this one like circular brick garden area, a lot of yoga classes and stuff going there. It's like has a very like Roman feel to it with little water going through. There's a lodge there, camping spots, RVs. They have actual cabins as well. It's a great, beautiful place out there, and I think once the water is high enough and all that, probably beginning of spring or whatever, they probably do a little bit of fishing and whitewater rafting as well. It's like an hour off Highway 126 east of Eugene, or it's about, from where Eugene ends, and, that main highway, it's, you're about a 60-minute drive east to get the Belknap Hot Springs. Within that area, like 13 miles, there's multiple waterfalls, hiking trails, near off that main highway of Highway 126. There's the Sahali Falls and Coosa Falls. I believe Sahali flows into Coosa, which also flows into a reservoir that's there they could fish at and stuff. There's the Tamalach Blue Glacier Pool. There's Tamalach Falls, but during, I think the months of July and August, it dries up. There's in that area, opposite direction, a little south of Belknap, I believe there's a forest area, walk around, you get to Proxy Falls. It's like a giant circular football field through, rocky and wilderness area. And then somewhere in that area, there's a parking lot, and there's a little bit of a quarter-mile hike to get to Cougar Hot Springs. I'm actually planning on checking that out while I'm in that area, because I've never been there myself, and it looks amazing. Let's see, Hillsboro Trap and Skeet Club. I was there many years ago. I was home from Afghanistan for 2 weeks. I believe it was September of 2012. Took my dad and my younger brother out there, and we went skeet and trap shooting. It was a lot of fun. Younger brother, shoulder was hurting afterwards, because he had never done that before, but it was good to know that he actually beat me. I was an active duty Army veteran, and I was whooping him for 95% of the time, and near the very end I was missing one shot after another, and he caught up and he beat me by like 2, so I lost a bet to him. Kayaking and canoeing rentals, different locations, Warren, Oregon, Portland, Tualatin, Oregon. There are there's paintball locations in Tualatin, Moalala, Oregon, Salem, Canby, Portland, Harrisonburg, and Salem. So a lot of different paintball places, and most paintball places do the airsoft as well. Drift Creek Falls Trail as 1378, and that is in Otis, Oregon. And the reason why I said that specifically is because I put in Drift Creek Falls at one point in time to try to get there, unique hiking trail, and it took me to a Drift Creek Falls a road or whatever in the middle of farmland nowhere. It was supposed to be west of Salem and in Otis, Oregon, and it took me east. I was actually very close to Silver Falls State Park. In that area, and that's how I actually went and found that that state park for the very first time, was because I was trying to get to this Drift Creek Falls, and it took me to a road in the middle of nowhere instead of the actual falls, hiking trail. So it's Drift Creek Falls Trail 1378, and it's in Otis, Oregon. So if it's taking you to a different location, you're going to the wrong one. Hot air ballooning. There's the Portland Rose Ballooning thing in Aurora, Oregon, and there's other hot air ballooning places in Newberg as well, Oregon. Something that I'm actually looking at taking my mom to here in the near future, because she informed me, other than a little kids ride around train ride thing in Disneyland, she has never been on an actual normal train. So I'm looking at taking her to Mount Hood Railroad. I've been doing some digging and looking into that. It'd be like $47, I think, for each of us for a table with seats. And it's 77 miles from here, 60 miles east of Portland. It's just a little bit west of the Dalles, Oregon, in the Columbia River Gorge. And then so get on the train. It's like a 45-minute ride there. Get off the train for 45 minutes to 60 minutes at the fruit company in Mount Hood. And then you get back on the train and 45 minutes back. And they also, since last spring, they started their own pedal riders, little either 2-seater to 4-seater with electric assist pedal rail riders thing on those tracks. And they do it at, like, I think they said noon, 3, and 6, if I remember. Or no, it was like 8:30, noon, and 3 is when they do those. Those are like $200, whether it's just you as one person or for 2 people. I don't know if they have 4-seaters. From what I saw from an online Portland news thing showing it off, they were in a 2-seater one, so I don't know if they have 4-seater ones. So I'm going to go check that out at some point and do that. There's the Lloyd Center Mall. That is slowly, but surely dying out. But there is in the center of the Lloyd Center Mall. This is a massive mall. It's 3 stories, but most of the mall is empty. It's not as popular as it was way back when. There's an ice skating ring at the very center of the mall. It's what most people go to. There's a few restaurants still in the area, and there's all the stores are surrounding the ice skating ring. There's almost no other, businesses on the outskirts of the mall. So it's slowly dying. Let's put it that way. Valley River Center Mall. This is in Eugene. And it's a really nice mall. We go down there every now and then. It's about a 2-hour drive south of where I live. And we go there because that's the closest Texas Roadhouse to us is in this Valley River Center Mall location. The Texas Roadhouse restaurant's in the parking lot of the mall. We walk through the mall. They have their own theater. They have a Charlie's and other restaurants, Cinnabon and other things, Panda Express, I believe. There's like 10 or a dozen different restaurants and clothing stores and shoe stores and sporting goods and all that. And they have a very large round 1 bowling. The one we have at the Vancouver Mall in Vancouver, Washington. This one at Valley River Center Mall in Eugene is like 3 to 4 times bigger. More lanes, restaurant, the video game section, pool tables, and all that is it's massive. They have a lot of the higher end, more advanced video games that they would have in Japan and stuff. So it's not just it's a huge 2 to 3 times larger round 1 bowling video game, kind of like Dave and Buster's kind of a place, with even some foreign country games. So there is that. Moving on. There's the Oregon Zoo, which is a little west of Portland, off the I-405, entering Highway 26, exit 71. It's pretty much once you get off the I-405, you're in downtown Portland, you get Highway 26 almost immediately after you get pass through the tunnel. The next couple of exits, 71 and 72 will be one of them, and that's where the Oregon Zoo and Japanese Gardens area, and the Japanese Garden, I believe, is in Washington Park area. Downtown Portland, there is the OMSI Museum, which is a really cool place to check out. I think it was labeled one of the best, museums with a variety of different categories, natural history and everything. Not too long ago, they had a thing of Marvel comics, superhero stuff and statues. They switched that out with some dinosaur stuff now. They have a decommissioned naval sub, outside. You can do a submarine tour thing. It was on Hunt for Red October, and it was on an episode in the background of Hawaii Five-0, the older version. They have a planetarium, which is really cool. I love the planetarium. The only thing I don't like is they're switching where they're not doing as much, out in the solar system, things about black holes and sun and the different solar systems and stars and all that. They'll do like one of those mixed in with Pixar kids movie stuff, Sesame Street, some sort of rave laser show. They're mixing a lot of other stuff with it instead of keeping it more about science and stuff. So I've seen things like Beyond Earth, talking about our solar system, the other planets, the moons around Jupiter, and all that kind of stuff. What else is out there that Voyager has sent us? Voyager 1 and 2. I've seen one of the solar flares about our sun. What have we learned about different stars and everything. Eventually, I want to go see ones about black holes and other things. I hope that they would play the Neil deGrasse Tyson one I've seen at the Museum of Natural History, or it was maybe it might have been Smithsonian Planetarium of Dark Universe. So I really love that kind of stuff. If you've never done a planetarium, do a sciencey one. Highly recommend it. It's really cool, and they're like 30-minute videos. They're not super long. There's a tiny house village hotel in Portland, and during the spring and summertime, when it starts to warm up, I believe like every Wednesday or something like that, at one point in time or another, they'll try to get a live band, have like a little tiny house. It's a parking lot that they fenced off, walled off. Put tiny houses in, multiple different design tiny houses from different designers or architects and or businesses. So it's a little village, and then a fire pit, and then like a little cover tarp thing, fabric solar cover with the poles and everything. And then they can have music and people jump in with flutes and everything. So. Let's see, in Tigard, Oregon, there's the iFly skydiving, so the whole tube thing, so you get the experience of like what skydiving is like, but you're not actually skydiving, but it's a fan that's pushing you up, and go up and down, and you want to go higher up, you get your body and arms out, and so you're just covering more area, and it's hitting your flat area, then you go down to like fall and all that kind of stuff. So it could be a lot of fun. I've seen commercials of it, of iFly. There's the Columbia River Gorge. Multnomah Falls, is pretty popular. I believe it's the second largest waterfall on the West Coast, and everything. So it's one of the most photographed waterfalls. There's Multnomah Falls Lodge out in front. It's over 100 years old. And there's the bottom floor is restrooms and gift shop, and then the second floor is the main dining hall, and there's it's a restaurant, and I have like a large rock wall fire pit, and a few of the others are gas fire pits. There's a little bar and everything. Every Sunday between, I believe it's 8 and 1, I believe it is, they do a full brunch buffet, and I think you have to make an appointment now or reservation. You have to get in before noon. If it's afternoon, then you can't do the brunch buffet. I think it's like $32 per adult. And they have a full spread and everything. It's really nice. And then at Christmas time, they do specialty meals. You book reservations for like Valentine's Day and stuff. And then Christmas meals and all that. They'll have the Christmas tree with like sleds with a bunch of presents in it and all that. So they do some specialty holiday meals and everything. They have amazing burgers and fries. Their drinks, hot chocolate drinks. Their hot apple cider with a cinnamon stick in it is awesome. Their salmon melt is phenomenal. Their seafood stuff, salmon seafood stuff, mushrooms with cheese on it is amazing. So highly recommend eating there at least once, and trying to do the brunch buffet. Every Sunday they do it, unless of course it's bad weather and they close the roads down. Also in that area, something that I did recently, because I've done a lot of those hiking trails, there's like several waterfalls in that area. It's not just Multnomah. A little, what is that east? Yeah, east of Multnomah. There's, the hiking trail for Triple Falls. There's Horsetail Falls, Lower Horsetail, Upper Horsetail. Some of those trails, as long as they're not damaged, they connect to each other. There's west of it is Wakena Falls, like a quarter mile down the road. Wakena and Multnomah it's like an upside down, it's like an A shape, so it's like Wakena, go up and loop back around, and then you come down Multnomah. So, some of them connect to each other. They've even expanded going further out on the trails, cleaned them up. You keep heading a little bit west of Multnomah. There's Horsetail Falls, and there's a bed and breakfast there off the Highway 30 is the scenic route highway, but it can get, especially once you get closer and closer to Multnomah Falls, traffic can be very congested during rush hour and the busy days, and when it's really nice out. So parking lot is cramped and everything. There is a parking lot off exit 31 of the Interstate 84, whether it's east or west. There's the main parking lot. A lot of people like to take the Highway 30 and cut through, and there's a little parking lot across the street from the actual Multnomah Falls building. That is really hard to get a parking spot there when it's busy. Let's see, there's Bridalveil Falls, which is down below from where the bed and breakfast parking lot is. You go down the hill, it's like its own pocket canyon. There's Shepherd Falls next to a bridge. There's almost no parking there. You can only get a few cars in that area. There's La Tourelle Falls. There's the Vista House Crown Royal Point, which kind of like it's like a sharp knife cliff area sticking out from the gorge, so you can see really deep into the gorge, both east and west. And they got a circular, like hexagon, like building. It looks like a crown. So Crown Royal Point with a Vista House. And that can be opened up. They can be doing tours and stuff and telling the history of the gorge and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. Oh, and so about 10 miles east of where Multnomah Falls Lodge is in the gorge, off exit 41, off of Interstate 84, heading east. Exit 41, there's a fish hatchery there, and then right past the fish hatchery is you have a paid for parking permit from like a park ranger people, which you can get. There's park ranger visitor center people at the Multnomah Falls Lodge, near the little like outdoor coffee shop and with bagels and muffins and all that. And you'll get a parking pass if you don't already have one, a permit. And you go to Eagle Creek parking lot and then do that hike, and it's a heck of a hike. I believe it was like 7.8 miles all the way to Tunnel Falls, from the beginning of the parking lot to Tunnel Falls. I did about 5.5 last time. It's a beautiful, in the actual gorge hike, slow elevation increase. It's not too steep. But it was quite amazing. You bring, good footwear, hiking stick, bring, hiking backpack with water bottles or Life Straw water bottles. There's when it's wet outside, a lot of the moss on the cliff sides with dripping water in which you can refill and drink from. If it goes through moss, it's like a Mother Nature filter. So, or other waterfalls, you have a Life Straw water bottle that you can just fill up from whatever water source and then drink with no issues. So, it's a heck of a good hike. I think it's like 7.8 miles one way, and then you come back. So, close to, was that 15.6 round trip or something like that. So, in that area, there's the Spirited Cruise as well. It's paid for, nice little cruise ship like on the Willamette River, but there's other routes as well, the Columbia River and everything. They have meals, and sometimes they have specials, and sometimes they get like, people playing, the piano or, jazz or flute or something, violin. You might have music. They might have special occasions with fireworks. They can do nighttime stuff, and especially for like 4th of July or whatever. Now the interesting thing about this, like when it comes to cruises, we had the old school steam paddle boat, little paddle wheel things, stern wheeler boats in the Columbia River, like Cascade Locks was one of the locations. They had it for several years, but then in this past February, the cruise ship company pretty much went bankrupt and closed down this past February. But then I just been reading articles that there's another company, American Cruise Lines, who are taking over both the major cruises, the multi-deck of different nicer little cruises in through the Columbia River and Snake River Valley and other places, all the way to Astoria, Oregon. Anywhere from 6 days to 16-day little full trips and food, and it's like a hotel, cruise ship boat and everything. But then they're bringing back the little mini, 30-minute to an hour stern wheelers. That this company is going to do a contract for like a year at certain locations, and then see how it works out, and will they renew it year after year after year if it works. If it doesn't, they'll stop it. So I heard that the normal, the longer, like week-long to 2-week-long cruises started up again in the Northwest through this new cruise line business company. And they started at the end of this last month, at the end of March of 2024. The mini cruises, like the stern wheelers that are like 30 minutes to maybe 90-minute little cruises, go to one area, turn around, come back, is going to start back up again 26 April of 2024, and then probably last for at least a year if they and see if they re-sign the contract to keep it going again. So that's coming back. Let's see, summertime in Portland, there's the Portland Flea Market. There's also farmers markets and stuff, and you can look that online for farmers markets and flea markets and locations. They have many different locations, different days and time frames, different hours. You got to look that up and check it out. Over in Seaside, Oregon, which is a little south of Astoria, there is a Seaside Aquarium, and there's beaches, beautiful beaches out there as well. Something I really love out in this area is the Tillamook, Oregon Creamery, and there's tours, and they have ice cream and cheeses and pizzas and gift shop, and it is awesome. It's a great experience to walk through and see how it's all made. So it's a cool thing. Just a little north of that, there's actually a little, where was it? It's a little tour train ride. I'm trying to find, like in Garibaldi, a train tour ride that goes over into another town, a half hour. I think that's like, I don't know if it's north or, I think it's north and all that. So, let's see, along, of course, that entire, coastline with near the beaches on it is Scenic Highway 101. That goes along the entire west coast of California, the entire United States. Is scenic Highway 101, and there's lighthouses and beaches to check out. There's the Oregon Coast Aquarium, which is in Newport, Oregon, and it goes from 9 to 6 on certain days. I think mostly weekdays. The weekends might be shorter hours. I've been there. It's a really nice aquarium. Clackamas Town Center Mall in Clackamas, Oregon. That is probably one of the most popular malls in the area of Oregon, other than the Washington Square Mall. The Clackamas Town Center Mall, has a cheesecake factory. It's like 2 stories, a lot of unique shops, great restaurants, major theaters connected to it, a cinema. There's like Charlie Subs, and I know they have Taco Time and Cinnabon and a bunch of others. They even got a unique thing about near one side of the mall on the first floor, Puffle Waffle. And all that's like actual full, like almost bubble wrap looking waffles that they make into a cone and put ice cream and fruit and other things into it. It's really nice. Heck of a sweet tooth. There's a cheesecake factory attached to it. There's a new Mexican food restaurant I have not been to. Behind, there's tons of things surrounding. There's sushi places and restaurants. There's acclaim jumpers in the back. In the back of the mall, it's not actually like attached, but it's like right by it. Dave and Buster's, right outside where the Cheesecake Factory is. Some noodle shop. There's an REI. So there's quite a bit. Clackamas Town Center Mall is one of my favorites. Let's see. Down in Canby, Oregon, me and my younger brother went on a little day trip. We stopped at a place in this area. Northern Canby is Bullwinkles, and it's like a mini golf place, laser tag, go-karts. It's in Wilsonville, which is just north of Canby. They had a variety of things, even like a pool with little bumper boats and a little jungle gym, and there was miniature golf, and then I think there was a little go-kart racing and little tiny gas-powered go-karts. And there's 2 stories of video games, and there's laser tag and all this other kind of stuff, and a bowling alley and a restaurant inside. And they have the digital cards, kind of like Dave & Buster's does, put money on it and then swipe and swipe and swipe. So no actual cash. You can get the tickets are digital on the card, and you get little prizes like old school arcades used to do, kind of like what Dave & Buster's does. Just south of there, though, waiting until more of the springtime, I believe it was the end of March when it started, Pat's Raceway in Canby, Oregon, a much larger outdoor area for full-size gas-powered go-karts. So we're going to try that eventually. There's a golf course in that area too. In that area, in like Portland and Beaverton, several different locations, there's still a few Wonderland nickel arcades that me and my brothers grew up on when my dad lived in Vancouver. My mom and dad were divorced. There's still a few of them. I see one right off the Highway 26 of the driving through the Beaverton area. In Cherner, Oregon, from 10:30 to 5 days a week. Enchanted Forest. It's a cool little thing to take little kids to and all that. Follow the yellow brick road and all that kind of stuff. So it's it's a cool thing for kids. For little kids, for their imagination. I've already talked about this. Actually, it's near the Oregon Zoo, the Japanese Gardens it's a botanic garden, Japanese botanic garden in Washington Park. Pedal bike tours. There are pedal bike tours. You have to look up online in Portland, Oregon. Pedal rail riders in Oregon, and that's in Bay City, Oregon. Joseph Branch R&R, Joseph, Oregon. Now they have one in Mount Hood as well, at Mount Hood Railroad. The Silver Falls State Park. They have lodges, campgrounds. There's horseback riding in the area. There's 361 state parks between Washington and Oregon. 637 total waterfalls between Washington and Oregon. So, okay, there's that. Finishing up on activities. There's Bridgeport Village, and that's in the Tigard area. It's a shopping mall. The thing that's about this is it's not an actual like walk through a hallway mall. This is all outdoors. There's a like 2 or 3 story parking garage across from the mall area. Then you walk outside, and so there's no roof or anything. There's little shelter shack areas with gas powered fireplaces, and there's tables and other stuff. There's interaction stuff for the kids, the little jungle gym stuff. There's spots you could sit down and eat outside, and there's an IMAX theater in that area as well. But there's a lot of different malls. There's a PF Chang's restaurant. There's right behind that. There's a Shake Shack. There's other little like Mexican food or bars and grills and stuff in that area. Down in Eugene, which I will be going to this Friday, I've been there once before, to the Holt Center for the Performing Arts. A lot of different cool activities going there. It's like almost like an old school, opera hall kind of a place. The first time I went, I think it was last spring. I went it was last fall of 2023, and I saw it was a symphony orchestra that was playing along with the first Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie. I thought it would be like a remix and only certain scenes and everything pasted together. No, it was the whole movie that a symphony orchestra was playing along with. I hope they do that again for all the other Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movies. It was quite something. Even makes the end credits of the movie more fun and interesting to stay and watch and listen for. So, but this this coming Friday, I'm going to a showing that is like a Chinese a drum orchestra thing that's mixed in with a show of martial arts. So and then I'm gonna get some Texas Roadhouse and then chill in the area as well and do some major hiking and camping in that area. I was right. Garibaldi, Oregon, which is just north of the Tillamook Creamery. It's the Oregon Coast Scenic Railroad. It's like 30 minutes there. You stop in Rockaway for like 30-45 minutes. There's nearby food trucks right on the beach and everything. There's a park there. You can walk the little town. There's souvenir shops and all that. Then you get back on the train. They'll whistle, do the train whistle, and you get 5 minutes to get back on, or they're leaving your butt, and then they go back to Garibaldi, and it's along the coast and the ocean and all that. It's a really cool thing. I've done it once myself. And they have both the indoor cars, and as long as it's nice house, they have some of the outdoor cars, so you can be out in the fresh air and stuff. And then just recently, I've been taking part in Tracker's Earth, and that's in downtown Portland. And that like southern Portland. Tracker's Earth is like these locations for recreational, either for just kids and adults, or just adults. Archery, axe throwing, survival, wilderness foraging classes. I took a blacksmithing class, a beginner blacksmithing class, and then they have longer versions of all these, like really entail blacksmithing or survival for an 8-hour session, a 2 or 3 day session, a week session, a month session, an 6 to 8 month class session. And then I might go into and try some more of these things. I've done the blacksmithing. I want to do archery and some other stuff, and maybe some of the survival stuff, because I'm big into emergency preparedness and survival kind of stuff, FEMA, Red Cross kind of stuff. And so once I get used to this company and do more with them, I might even talk to them and see about, can I maybe even sort of like join them and come up with some of my own creative classes on teaching emergency preparedness, bug out bag building, home preparedness, vehicle preparedness, but also maybe for young people who want to learn, or even adults, whoever, personal financial literacy classes. I have YouTube videos on like 8 different versions. I can teach them like Adulting 101 and how to be better with your money, and being a multitask problem solver and all this other kind of stuff. So I might hit them up, or I might even start looking at creating like a PowerPoint slideshow of some of this stuff of financial literacy. and then maybe try to go to some local high schools and colleges and see if I can even give a class that's like after normal classes or during lunchtime if people want to sign up. And it would be almost like an after school like etiquette class, but it's on Adulting 101, financial literacy. How can you improve your life to get ready for adulthood, or because they don't teach this stuff for your senior year in high school when they should, so maybe even for some college students too. So, all right, that's all the major activity places. Just going over some good food places throughout Oregon. I already talked about Mullen Falls Lodge, so I won't beat that up again. The only Cracker Barrel that I know that is left in Oregon, because the ones in Portland and Beaverton all closed down because of homelessness, is in Medford, Oregon, which is very southern central Oregon. There's Famous Dave's Barbecue. There's one in near the PDX airport, near where pretty close where the Best Buy and IKEA. There's a whole plaza there. I went to that one recently. I hadn't eaten at Famous Dave's Barbecue in a long time, and it was phenomenal. Food all the way around. And then there's another one in Tualatin as well on the east side of the highway. So. It's on the other side of the I-5 freeway from where the Cabela's is. The Cabela's is on the other side of the freeway. There is the Famous Dave's Barbecue over there. There's food trucks all over Portland, Oregon. They're everywhere. There's also bikini baristas as well. There's an In-N-Out Burger in Kaiser. I've been to that one. I was not impressed, and a lot of people say it's horrible. That's right off of the I-5 freeway. Texas Roadhouse, I said the only one that I know of so far is in Eugene. The only other one that I know of is on Fort Lewis, Washington. So I would have to get a day pass to go back on a military base to eat there. Cheesecake Factories, there's one in the Washington Square Mall. There's one in Tigard at the Washington Square Mall, and there's one in the Clackamas Mall. There's Claim Jumpers in Tualatin. I think that's the one I eat at the most, but there's one behind the Clackamas Mall as well. Panera Breads are everywhere. Charlie Subs, Clackamas Mall and Washington Square Mall. If you never had Charlie Subs, they're Philly cheesesteak subs, and they're some of the best that I've had anywhere. Brazilian Grill, which is downtown Portland. There's nearby parking garages all around there. There's some Broadway show theaters in that area too. And there is, it's rated 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's the real name for it, we call it Brazilian Grill, but it's a Fogo de Chão steakhouse. And it is phenomenal, and during the weekends, it's from certain times. They also do a newer brunch buffet version. I have not taken part in that yet, but I want to. Right down the street from there, because one time I wanted to eat there and they were all booked up, is the Melting Pot, a fondue place. And it's not just like cheese fondue, there's dessert fondues, and there's also you get different steak meats and all that, and then there's wine, and you can put potatoes and broccoli and all that, but you cook your different steak bites, and they'll tell you how long, if you want it rare, medium rare, well done, and all that kind of stuff. There's of course Plaza Jalisco and Astoria, like I said. Black Bear Diners, there's one in Gresham, Beaverton, and Newburgh. Stepping Stone Cafe in Portland. It was on Man vs. Food. I believe that is the one that does these massive, huge pancakes that are falling off the plate, off the edges of the plate, and they're double stacked, and they're just ginormous. They're pancakes for giants, pretty much. Voodoo Donuts. 70 variety donuts. I know there's one in downtown Portland. There's also one near the Vancouver Mall as well. The Kin's Artisan Pizza, little bit, I want to say, what is that? East of downtown Portland. On the east side of the I-5 off Highway 99. Kin's Artisan Pizza. Very small, opens up at 5 p.m. or something. It's a brick oven, thin crust pizza. It was labeled, I believe, number 2 in the country for thin crust pizza, and number like 10 or 11 out of the entire world. And it was some of the best thin crust pizza I've ever had. Dragon Palace, Chinese restaurant in Gresham. Down in Albany, Oregon, Novak's Hungarian restaurant, so Hungarian food. If you ever want to try that, it's very, very like home cooked, mama making, home cooked meal kind of environment. So old school kind of cooking. Orwanian, the Bake Shop, Hawaiian Donuts, and it's in Gresham. Man versus Food Show recommendations. Morton, the Steakhouse, high end, and it's across the street from a theater play. When I took my mom a few years ago to see Shen Yun. That was a great. It's a Chinese thing of what the way back in the day before newer updated Chinese public when they had an emperor and stuff. What China was really like and how amazing and culturally beautiful it was before its oppression and everything. I already talked about the Backwoods Brewery in Portland and Beaverton. The Sizzler in Longview, Washington has been shut down recently, several months ago, and now the only one in the local area that I could find is in Albany, Oregon. So there is that. And then lastly, very quickly, stuff in Boise, in Idaho that I know about. So in Boise, Idaho, there is, Longhorn Steakhouse in Longhorn and Idaho Falls. Some of the best steaks at like the prices of Texas Roadhouse, but sort of more of a very high end a steakhouse. With it really depends on their chef, really, but their desserts are amazing. Their rye bread for beginning appetizers are amazing, and the first time I ate at a Longhorn Steakhouse in Colorado Springs off of Powers near an IMAX theater, which is eastern Colorado Springs. It was one of the best steaks I've ever had. So incredibly flavorful, and yet the prices of like Texas Roadhouse prices. So I've been to McCall, Idaho, a very touristy kind of place. I've been to Coeur d'Alene. They're in like actual Coeur d'Alene right there on the lake. There's little shops. There's a VR place. There's seaplane rides, during the right time of weather. There's little go-kart places as well. There's Hayden in Hayden, Idaho. I believe near an airport. There is skeet and trap shooting. You can rent their weapons, buy the ammo, and all that. Do different types of skeet and trap shooting. I really like that place. I wish we had a place similar to that around here. In Silverwood, Idaho, there's a Silverwood theme park. So it's a thrill-seeking theme park. I've driven past it. I never went. I just wasn't in the mood last time while we were there. But my brothers and stuff went. There is Boulder Beach Water Park in Thole, Idaho. So there's a lot of water parks during when it starts to warm up, probably middle to end of spring and then all of summer. There's go-kart racing. There's horseback riding in that area. Lake cruises. There's jet ski rentals for the Coeur d'Alene Lake. There's a Big Jude's. It's I think it is on Man vs. Food. It's in Boise, Idaho. It's ginormous, huge burgers for giants, pretty much. Flying High Pizzeria, unique ingredients. That was on Man vs. Food. Pretty much, I think this last little bit of notes I left myself on, what would I do, if I want to be a little bit more adventurous other than just driving and all that, or taking rideshare or whatever. One thing I would definitely look at considering doing is taking more train rides. If I could book hotels and then get a rideshare and all that. Or it's the train that I'm getting off of my motel hotels pretty close by or whatever, or resorts or whatever it is. So maybe at one point in time I would very much like to, when I feel more confident, I don't think I've ever taken a normal train ride, not here in the States. In like Germany, I did. But like I've never been on an Amtrak train before. You know, it was always a driving, ride share, or it was um, airlines, and if I was on a train, it was always like a tourist kind of train, you know, that goes to one place and then like half hour to an hour later it turns around and comes back. Very tour guide kind of trains. Steam coal train lines, like the one in Durango, Colorado, Durango to Silverton through the Rocky Mountains. Round trip is like 7 hours. So, so yeah, I think I might, want to do more of that. Try to book something, go visit more of Seattle. Really, walk around and check out more of Seattle. But because there's a lot of crime going on, with stealing of cars. So like, leave my car here to get a ride share that would take me to like Vancouver train station to go all the way up to Seattle, maybe even go into Canada, like Vancouver, BC, and maybe then take another train and go even further all the way up to Anchorage, Alaska. So I'd like to do maybe some more real train rides, longer train rides, get to places and then stop at places, so I wouldn't have to just, if I'm not going on a road trip, but I'm taking a train and just the proper, like, survival bug out bag of all the proper luggage I'm going to need and everything, clothes. An interesting story that kind of has to do with all my world travels and everything. And it was an interesting experience I'm going to go over real quick. And what it had to do was when I was a soldier stationed in Hanau, Germany for 2 years, at one point in time, I took some vacation leave. Germany was my very first duty station, going out from Army Reserves at Fort Vancouver to Germany, went active duty in February of '06. So I was there from February '06 to February '08. I believe it was sometime in end of '06 to '07 timeframe. I took a trip from Germany all the way to Hawaii, Oahu, to visit Hawaii for the first time. I went to Schofield Barracks. I went on there because I had active duty military ID. I can get on military installations. Went to a shop at a little mini mart and grabbed some snacks and drinks. And I saw these two soldiers doing a police call, garbage pickup around their barracks. And so I talked to them for a little while so I can try to get some information from them on, how long they've been there on Oahu, how long they've been in, what are the positives and negatives of getting stationed in Hawaii. Because later on in my future, I may want to get stationed there, and I did. After Germany was Fort Lewis, Iraq, back to Fort Lewis, and after Fort Lewis, it was Wheeler Army Airfield, Oahu, Hawaii, which was the base right across from Schofield Barracks. Wheeler is also, it's historical. A lot of the hangar bays on the airfield, there's still bullet holes from when Pearl Harbor was attacked by Japanese fighter planes. And so anyway, I talked to these soldiers on Schofield, and I was like, hey guys, how long have you been here? How long have you been in? And you've both been here for about a little over a year. Okay, what are the positives and the negatives of, being stationed here in the Pacific Ocean on a Hawaiian island? Do you guys really like it? Do you hate it? What's the positives and negatives? What's the lowdown, pretty much? Give me feedback so I can make a good choice later on is this a good place to get stationed? And their response to me blew me away, because it's like, to me, the world is our playground, until, we destroy it all. So there's so many things to do, and that's why I'm like doing this thing, to put information out there for the Pacific Northwest as to, why am I doing this? Because a lot of people, I saw it in the military, I see it in friends and family members. Hey, we have the time off from work, we want to rest and relax, so let's have some fun. What's their version of fun? 99% of the time, it's let's go out to eat, movies, bowlings, malls, and then drinking. Something involving drinking, sporting events and drinking, at-home barbecues and drinking, going to malls and drinking, or even the movie theaters. Some of them have alcohol now, alcoholic bars and everything. Let's go bar hopping. Let's go clubbing. Let's go, partying. It's like drink and drink and drink and drink and something mixed with alcohol. Like you can't have fun without it, but in fact you really can. And some people are starting to see that you don't really need alcohol to have a good time. And so, there's so much to see and do in this world, and that's why I'm putting all this information of what is there to see and do and go check out, whether with or without kids or other people in Washington, Oregon, and Idaho, in the entire Pacific Northwest. And so anyway, when I'm in Hawaii talking to these two soldiers, and they're like, yeah, we've been here for a little over a year. For the first 6-7 months, we really enjoyed ourselves. After that, we're pretty much barracks rats. Neither of us swim, so you're on an island and you can't really swim well. And then their other thing was, why are they barracks rats? Because they went to like every single bar and club 2 to 3 dozen times in a row after the first 6 to 8 months. Now they're bored. Even though you're in paradise. What does paradise have? Everything. I mean, hiking trails, parks, state parks, national parks. You can do road trips, recreational activities, so many recreational. There's the skydiving, glider rides, paragliding, horseback riding, Dole's pineapple farm factory, similar to like a, so it's Hawaiian thing, Macadamia Nut Farm, Polynesian Cultural Center, so there's these different unique farms you can do tours on and everything. There's North Shore, there's hiking trails, there's beautiful gardens, botanic gardens, there's waterfalls, snorkeling, scuba diving, Sea Life Park, Waikiki, Hanama Bay, which is right around the corner from Waikiki. There's the luau's, amazing food. You drive around, and you can even see signs of people, locals who go out fishing, smoke the fish, prep it, and then sell them in baggies for a certain amount. There's the Polynesian Cultural Center, which is amazing. There's four-wheeling, horseback riding, jeep tours, bus tours. Then there's actual Waikiki, area and all the different food and stores and souvenirs and, and then spas and everything. So there's all this amazing, adventurous stuff to do. I really, really miss Hawaii, and what's really crazy about it is then it's also, if you live there, you're stationed there or whatever, then you can go for a super dirt cheap price. It was a little different. I got there in like December 2011, left in December 2010, and then left there in December 2013. So it was like 3 years, a year of that in eastern Afghanistan with an aviation maintenance unit that worked on Black Hawk helicopters, but 2 years physically on the island, and I really, really miss it. And there's probably a good amount of things that I even missed out on, I didn't even know about. And then there's probably a lot of different things too now. So I would like to go back and see all that, but then for a super, cheap price, probably $100 to $300, you could get a round trip plane ticket, flying out of Hawaii and flying to the other islands. So here's the great thing about being stationed or living in Hawaii. You can go from one island to the other for a couple $100. And what is that? No matter what you do on one island, even if you did all the skydiving and snorkeling and scuba diving, you go to another island and do the same activities, but it's a completely different environment. It's not the exact same. Same kind of activities, different environment that you're digging yourself into. So, the whole world is our playground, our oyster, and I think too many people get stuck in their stressful, exhausting life. They're sad, they're depressed. They don't see the happiness. They don't see what this world has to offer. Their eyes are slightly covered or shaded or kind of blocked, and they see tunnel vision. of I only see one or two fun things. I don't see the big picture. I don't see the beautiful world. I don't see all the activities or Mother Nature, or just going out to the wilderness and breathing in fresh air, and having a water bottle with like a life straw, or a life straw itself, drinking from the waterfall creek, or depending on the waterfall, is there a little watering hole and it's warm enough and you brought the right clothes and towel and you can jump in and swim in like you can in both in Columbia River Gorge waterfalls, and was another good place, the Silver Falls State Park has a couple watering holes you can swim in. There's cabins, there's hot springs, going on road trips, all this kind of stuff. So it's like, do your homework, do some Google searching and look at what this world has to offer. Type in some searches of golfing and paintballing and firing ranges and archery and blacksmithing classes, cooking classes, survival taking classes, get together with some kind of groups that you volunteer your time to work at soup kitchens, or volunteer your time to work with park ranger people that go to state and national parks and repair hiking trails and everything. Trail Keepers of Oregon is one of them. I might actually volunteer this summer for that. I want to get out there more. I want to see more of the world. I want to go to these places I've never been. I grew up in Washington State for most of my life, and there are parts of Washington State and Oregon and Idaho I've never even been to. I've probably been to 60% of Washington State. I've never been to the San Juan Islands. I haven't really visited Seattle. And all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot more of each of these states, that I want to go see and try out in different towns and restaurants, and find hidden little pocket areas and all that kind of stuff. So that is pretty much my entire overview of a Pacific Northwest tour guide, recommendations of activity places, recreational places, hiking trails, waterfalls, places to rent things, train rides, the Columbia River Gorge. There are different agencies now that do like seaplane rides and helicopter tours as well. And then the different major restaurants I've been to, like I said, under my full name, one more time, Christopher Wanamaker. Under that name, I'm a Google reviewer for the Vancouver, Washington, Portland, Oregon, and surrounding areas. And currently I have like 9.25 million views and 50 followers as of last night. I just do all these videos, all my different category videos on my YouTube channel is basically me trying to share my own personal knowledge and experience in different subject category topic areas to help other people if I can. The way I look at it is, if I have 45 videos right now covering 25 different topic areas. If one person looks at one topic area, listens, learns, writes down notes, and then implements it in their lives, and it improves their lives in finances, emergency preparedness, recreational, cooking, whatever it is, it was all worth it, right? That's how I look at it. So I hope you enjoy this video. I hope this was good information. I hope you look things up online, or even me on Google reviews, and I hope you take some of this advice on what is there to truly see and do, and get out there and stop staying doing the same thing, staying in your small town or the nearby small towns that's near your main small town or where you live. Get out there, and especially with a vehicle, or you're closer to a more populated area with like rideshare driving, what is there more to do out there? What new food places love? Like the waterfront in Vancouver, Washington is a great example. Brand new businesses, everybody loves it. There's a little bit of, like Marriott hotels and stuff. It's like the bottom floor of the majority of these buildings are like a restaurant, a business, and then all the others is either hotels or it's apartments and stuff. So, everybody goes there, loves that area. So, Hope this was good info, and check it out. Hit like, hit subscribe, and make any comments about this video. So hope you enjoy it. All right, you guys have a good day, have a good night, and have a good spring and summer for 2024. Watch out for each other. All right, have fun. Bye.